Welcome to the Crash the Pond podcast. It is a Monday, May 23rd edition of the show. More importantly, though, Jake, this is a bit of a historic event tonight. Actually, do you want to let people know why this is a historic podcast, at least for us, for our purposes?
Why is this a historic podcast, might you ask?
Do you want me to tell them?
You can.
It's Jake's last podcast in the only apartment he's ever podcasted from.
Correct.
This is the only podcast studio, we'll call it, that you've ever had, and now you're moving on to greener pastures.
Yes.
So, bittersweet.
Yes, and especially because, just so everyone knows, we will not have a podcast next week with it being Memorial Day. We're taking it off. We're still figuring out what our schedule is going to be for summer. We'll kind of fill you in a little bit more on that at a later date. But yeah, starting next podcast, we'll probably have a full kind of nicer setup, nicer studio. Won't have a bed, won't have my wife's dresser behind me. Might actually have Ducks pictures behind me instead.
Yeah, you can really go whole hog here.
I know.
By the way, just want to chime in here. You may have just seen Kadri just got another goal in this Avs Blues game.
Oh man.
Anyway, completely unrelated. But yeah, it's exciting. You're going to be able to really spruce up your very own podcast studio.
Maybe I'll get lights. Maybe I'll make really go all out and make you look worse than you typically do.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much to lose, so, appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I'm the one that typically dresses up for the show. I'm the one that's going to make my environment look great. And, yeah.
Yeah, you're looking really dressed up. Actually, you are looking pretty dressed up with your Crash the Pond hoodie.
Thank you. Exactly.
Great selection. I almost bagged you there, but then I saw the hoodie and I was like, oh, I can't.
DB Lowry saying I should do a Ducks version of Dangle's Blue Room. I don't have that many toys. I don't have those
I'm glad you don't. That'd be a little weird.
These are my toys right here. I probably have bobbleheads also at work, but I've got the Gibson bobblehead right here. I've got a Zegras one somewhere. I've got this Wild Wing one right here. I've got, just for Lou, this Young Bucks Funko Pop set, and I've got a Korg Funko Pop.
Yeah.
There
you go. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good starter.
Yeah. DB Lowry saying fan donations. If you do want to donate stuff to me to show on the pod, I will take it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's saying no to donations. So, all this being said, though, it's a bit bittersweet because it is the only place that I've seen you podcast from. You've seen me in 5 different locations throughout this, and I've only ever seen you in
let's
one.
see. We've seen you in 2 or 3 apartments plus your parents' house at some point.
Yeah, I think I'm at 4. And within some of those, there's been multiple locations. Different floors within the house or the apartment or whatever.
Does standing in the same apartment where you typically sit count as a different location? The angle's different.
Even within this very room that I'm in, I think I've had 5 different configurations. So I've been the opposite of you, basically.
Yeah.
You've been sat in the same chair this entire time.
No, it's been a different chair. The chairs change. If you can't tell, we don't have a lot of news to talk about on this episode.
Yes. Yeah. So usually this is the part of the show where we tell you what we're going to talk about today as it pertains to the last week in Anaheim Ducks news. But there was actually 0 news the last week. I don't think that's hyperbole. The Ducks didn't do anything. No hirings, no firings, no trades, no signings.
Oh, Zegras caught a shark, though. That happened.
Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you pointed that out, because otherwise...
Thanks, DB Lowry.
That may have been an issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in spite of all of that, though, I think that we're still going to have a fun show for all of you guys today. We did turn it over to the listeners. We sent out a call for questions, and we have quite a few. And I think that at some point we'll also get some from the Twitch chat. So it'll just be maybe a bit more of a laid-back kind of off-season edition of the show. And I think we'll have a good time and still get into some good Ducks topics.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. When's the next time we're probably going to get news on the Ducks? Because when's the draft? Have they set a date for the NHL draft?
Yeah, they definitely have. It's July 7th.
July 7th.
So,
okay.
So it's probably going to be another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how the rumor mill will heat up, but it's tough with the Stanley Cup playoffs really sucking in everyone's attention and kind of freezing freezing everything. So I wouldn't really expect anything major for a little while now.
No. I mean, we might start seeing trades maybe. I think typically it's like conference finals when maybe you'll start seeing some trades trickle out. I feel like the cup final, they try to avoid doing it, or at least doing it on cup final days.
Right.
But yeah, so just kind of for everyone out there with where things are going, it's going to be a bit for the Ducks to do it. So when we do episodes, we're going to rely on you and answer your questions, basically. And that's kind of what we've done with this episode.
And I think we'll try to do some of our, because like last year we did an episode where we went into player grades for the season.
Yeah.
Different things like that. So we'll have episodes where it'll be kind of our own topics and we'll be driving the bus, but there will also be episodes where we'll just purely talk about what you guys want to discuss. So I think it'll be a nice balance.
It's also been suggested, and maybe we'll see what we can do to get some guests on to talk about prospects and in the lead up to the draft and see what we can do there.
Yeah, I feel like this is the time of the year where people want to hear less from us and more from draft experts or what have you.
Yep.
So we'll make it work. Don't worry.
Yep. We have things that we're gonna get kicking on to get some things going. But with that being said, anything else you want to talk about? Anything from your last week, Felix, that you want to vent about?
Vent? No, I'm good. I'm happy that my Golden State Warriors are on the verge of sweeping the Dallas Mavericks and returning to the NBA Finals. So
hey,
I'm pretty happy. Can't complain.
And Tottenham qualified for the Champions League again.
Did they?
Yes, they did. They beat Norwich. Wow. Son Heung-min is tied Mo Salah for the Golden Boot, so Golden Boot winners. And for anyone that's a Premier League fan, it was a good final day of the Premier League. Came down to the final game for the champion, and it was a really good time.
Yeah, Man City, well deserved. Everyone wants to see them win.
I had no dog in that fight. Did not care who won, but it was exciting.
Yeah,
and the Angels are exciting, even though they lost that series. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and even the Stanley Cup playoffs, I feel like have been pretty fun. For me, there's always a bit of a letdown after round one, where round one takes up so much time, so much of your attention, and then it almost feels like you have this big exhale before getting back into it. But I feel like with this second round, though, some of these series have been really good. I think that Calgary-Edmonton has not disappointed so far. Although maybe you disagree with that. Maybe for you, games where you get nearly 20 goals between both teams is not enough. I don't know.
What would make you think that I'm perfectly happy. The only complaint that I have in that series is I just want both teams to lose. And so I want it to not have sudden death overtime, and they just are forced to keep playing and keep playing and keep playing. That's it.
I don't like that Milan Lucic has become like a centerpiece of this series with the controversy with the collision with Mike Smith. But
I don't love that Evander Kane has also become a centerpiece of this series.
Yeah, some of the characters are maybe... I mean, Evander Kane is in a league of his own in that respect, but certainly that has been a little bit tough, but it's still been great hockey. I think it's cool to see Connor McDavid getting a real shot here at maybe moving on. And then outside of that, I mean, Colorado, St. Louis is going about how I expected. I think that St. Louis is making it a little bit tricky for the Avs at times, but the Avs are just so much better than at the end of the day, they're going to pull away.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what happened in this game specifically that's going on as we're recording. It's 4-1 Avs after the Blues took a 1-0 lead. So, the Avs are just the better team, and even though the Blues took one of the games, this series could be done in 5.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest development that we saw today was the fact that the Florida Panthers are done. Did not win a game in the second round, kind of meandered their way through the first round and got just handily dismissed in round 2 to the reigning back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. So I guess just a quick thought on that, because to me, I didn't really watch much of the series, but I think it's just more so a testament to the fact that winning in the playoffs is really difficult, because not just because it's hard to win, but because there's also a lot of luck involved. But secondly, the Tampa Bay Lightning are a machine. They're just really good. They've kind of figured out the playoffs, so to speak. They took down a really high-powered Florida team. Some smoke and mirrors maybe, but I think I wouldn't look at it as this big referendum on Florida.
No, and the other thing is, it's funny, the end of the game tonight, I think it was Eddie Olchuk said something along the lines of,
What did Eddie say?
The Tampa Bay Lightning know how to play defense or something along those lines and defense wins championships. As the Tampa Bay Lightning allowed 50-plus shots on goal in the game. Like this was not a shutout that happened because the team played great defense. They had allowed glorious chances to the Florida Panthers. I think the Florida had like a 4+ expected goal total on the night, and it was just Andrei Vasilevskiy playing insane, which happens.
Yeah.
Like that's the playoffs, and that's going to happen. And Vasilevskiy is an elite goaltender, but to say that this game was because they can play defense, they know how to close out games, all different stuff. This was a bad game. The Panthers were the better team, and which is actually also even funnier when you look at the whole narrative going into the game about the places that supposedly Tampa media said the Panthers were at.
Yeah,
and so the Panthers were the better team tonight.
Yeah, although I think that my biggest takeaway from Tampa is Andrei Vasilevskiy.
Yeah,
because he, there was already articles going around. There was one from Joe Smith of The Athletic today about where he's starting to fit in the all-time, hierarchy. And he's making a pretty damn good case for himself because for him, it's not just the fact. I think nowadays it's so much better for evaluating goalies because of the stats that we have now that we didn't have back in the day with stats like goals saved above expected. And he's a very good goalie. He makes that team better with his play, and he allows them to kind of play that tight checking style in the playoffs because he can just erase any mistake when they do happen. So he's got the playoff credentials. He's piling up the regular season success, and I'm very curious when his career is over, when the dust settles, where he's going to be all time, because he might sneak into that top 5 is my early call. Actually, maybe even top 3, just the way he's piling up accolades.
DB Lowry said, is he already the best Russian goalie to ever play in the league?
I like that condition, to ever play in the league, because a lot of people would contend that Vladislav Tretiak is the best Russian goalie, but obviously didn't play in the NHL. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone better.
I can't either. So, okay. Let's get to this.
By the way,
yeah,
I just want to say this. The only correct answer to best goalie of all time is Dominik Hasek.
Yes,
that's all.
That is correct.
That's all.
Okay. Pushhead 2 had this question that they threw into our Twitch chat and gave us 100 bits, so I wanted to actually read it right now because they said, question since I can't stay for long. Is it wrong to not have much hope next season despite the roster moves they might make because Aikens will be at the helm?
I think that's an interesting question. I think that if you've listened to our show, you would certainly expect us to say that, yeah, there might be some pessimism because you can't trust Aikens to maximize what he's been given. And I think that that's fair. I think it's fair to have some skepticism, but I do think that it's not just a matter of the roster. I think that next season you have to factor in the fact that there's going to be a full offseason with Pat Verbeek basically being in Dallas Aikens' ear. We don't know to what extent the Ducks are going to build out their analytics staff this offseason. And the roster could look drastically different. And that does matter because instead of, maybe giving Dallas Aikens better options, it's just taking bad options off the table that he's bound to use.
And
right?
One thing I want to add here, there's a lot of people out there that thought, well, maybe when Pat Verbeek comes in, if he's more of an analytic mind, he'll dictate to Dallas Aikens what he should be doing in these situations, yada, 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 that type of stuff. Thing to kind of remember, right, is Pat Verbeek took the job, early February?
Yeah.
Was when he took the job. And so he took the job early February, and the season ended early April, right? Late April.
Yeah.
So he was on the job for 2.5 months, basically. He was like, picture when you take a new job. What do you do in those first 2 months? You're learning the environment.
Ask a bunch of questions.
Figuring out what's going on around you. Figuring out how everything works around you. I don't think he was necessarily in the spot where right then and there, middle of the season, he was going to dictate exactly to Dallas Aikens what to do. He knew what he wanted to do from the roster building perspective long term, but as for this season, I think it makes sense that he was probably maybe a little bit hands off with Dallas. Having said that, now, like you said, he's going to have a full off season to be able to put his fingerprints on everything. And so that's why I think, well, yes, you and I have been very critical of Dallas Eakins. We both have our thoughts on him. We both probably think there are multiple better options out there for the Ducks franchise. But I do think that I think that there is room for optimism with the fact that Pat Verbeek is going to have a big say in this offseason. He's going to, like you said, probably take some of his favorites off of the team, probably implement guys that he likes more, that play a better style, and really kind of talk to Dallas about the way that he wants the team to play. And that's really important here.
Right, exactly. And I think that there's definite room for optimism. I think you can't just dismiss what's happened the entire time that Dallas Eakins has been the coach, but maybe I'll sound like a bit of an apologist or what have you, but the environment in which he's going to be coaching in is going to be a lot different than the one he's been coaching in his entire tenure, with Bob Murray at the helm, with the different staff, not just in the front office in Anaheim, but San Diego, the assistant GMs. Like, so much is changing kind of under the hood for the Ducks right now that I could see. He's still going to be the same coach at the end of the day, but I do think that his decision-making process could look a little bit better. Yeah, so we'll see. I think you should just have an open mind for next season.
Yeah, because Pushhead also had, my worry is they sign someone and Eakins misuses him, misuses that player when it's clear as day what the player's role should be. And so I think that's fair. I just think that there's going to be more of a say in terms of what Pat Verbeek is going to dictate for Dallas Eakins, where maybe he was kind of on the back burner, seeing how Dallas Eakins works. Next season, he's going to essentially be on the front foot there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I view that. So want to start getting in some questions?
Yeah.
So we're just kind of going to hit it. So Angels meme. We basically put out the call on Twitter. So we got some here. We got some from Discord. And I might even dip into YouTube, because I think on YouTube on last week's episode, we got some questions there. So Angels meme said, long term, is Isac Lundestrom a 3C or a 4C for the Ducks?
Ooh, that is an interesting question. So I think I'm going to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here, which maybe I do more often than I realize.
You definitely do. I think
that. Wow, thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Here's my boring answer. I think he can be the 3C for this team. I think it might be likelier that he slots down into the 4C. But I think it's like, I think at the beginning of the season, I would have said 90-10, he's going to be 4C. I think now I'm probably more 60-40. He'll be a fourth line center. I think he showed enough this year to where, okay, there's something here that could end up being a useful player. The problem is, the reason why I still have it leaning towards fourth line is because I still don't completely see the offensive upside, where in the modern day NHL, you need three centers who can do something with the puck in the offensive zone.
I mean, Lewis is saying this is a classic yes and no answer, and Olaf is saying, are there two sides to a coin, though?
I mean, I gave an answer. I think I gave an answer there.
Okay. Long term, I'm gonna go with. I don't think he's gonna have the offensive upside long term to be a 3C.
Okay.
I just don't think so, and I think that's gonna be the biggest issue here, because in the modern day game, it's no longer just a top six.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have scoring on multiple lines, and some people may look at that and say, well, he scored 16 goals this year, but you look at his shooting percentage. We've talked about this so much. It's not sustainable from what he's produced, and he doesn't necessarily have the offensive drive to be able to keep that up and push that. He's a great transition player that put with the right players that are good at pushing play the other way. He can be good, but I think that he is someone that is more so slated to be a 4C with good wingers that are good at controlling play in the offensive zone that can then complement his game. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think that will really help him the most, because I think, honestly, that's something he hasn't necessarily had. He hasn't had wingers on his line that can really complement him.
Yeah, because, I mean, for most of the season, just off the top of my head, he played with, Jakob Silfverberg, who kind of struggled this year a little bit, Derek Grant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so not exactly ideal. I still I don't see the offensive upside either, and that's why I think it's just going to be tough for him to crack that role. That being said, I think in today's game, you do see guys take offensive steps more. I think that the way that skills coaching has progressed, guys, it's more feasible now to actually get better offensively than it used to be.
Well,
you can improve those skills in your reads.
Yeah, and I think his biggest issue, we've talked about this a lot, is he needs to basically, when he's in the offensive zone, he needs to be looking to make a play and not just essentially take it to the outside and stay along the boards. And whether that's make a pass, whether it's anything like that, the issue is when he enters the zone, nothing happens. And so that's the issue.
Yeah, I think that with him, I almost said with Isaac, doing my best Ducks commentary impression there.
Lundy?
But with Isaac, it's much like Troy, where I think that, Troy Terry, the last couple of years of his career, was really good at gaining the zone, right? Was really good in transition. That's something that we had seen in the tracking data. But once he got there, wasn't necessarily the best at turning that into offense. And I think the big shift for Terry this year was that he started really prioritizing attacking the middle lane and really getting into that slot area, trying to beat defenders, or even off the cycle, trying to work his way in. And I think for Isaac, if he can just take that mentality of, instead of driving wide when he enters the zone, to just try to go to that middle area and then go back out to his wingers, that's what could help his offense.
Either that or looking to make a pass across the Royal Road, because that's the other thing. He doesn't necessarily make passes in the offensive zone to create plays. And even if it's a simple 5-10-foot pass, those 5-foot, 10-foot passes in the offensive zone that make the goalie move can do wonders in order to create offense. Heyo25 actually had this, said, for the uninitiated, how much more offense is expected of a 3C versus a 4C, and how important is that versus playing a role?
I mean, it depends how you want to view it, whether it's play driving or they're just sheer production, goals and assists. I don't know how I would define that, but when you look at guys that are playing third line, I think that those are guys who are still capable of scoring maybe about 20 goals a year. Right, 20 goals plus a year.
I mean, look at it like this. This is, I think, an easy way to kind of almost, from a Ducks perspective, compartmentalize it. On a good team, Adam Henrique is a good on a good team, Adam Henrique is a 3C.
Yeah,
from a production standpoint, he's a consistent 20-plus goal scorer, consistent 40-plus, 50-plus point scorer. Like, that's exactly what you want from your third line center.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas
and then a fourth line guy is really interchangeable, right? Yeah. It's not a guy you're even really looking to for production. It's a guy who's going to get 10 to 15 goals a year, but really you're just looking to that guy to control play when he's out there, to just not be a liability. And so you only really care about production after, from your first three centers. I don't think fourth line center is a position I'm really caring about when it comes to goals and assists. So
yep, agreed. And I think that's kind of where
if you're paying for goals and assists on your fourth line, you're probably not a good team, because you're probably doing it wrong.
Well, or maybe it's something where you are an excellent team and you are just scoring the lights off of everyone.
Yeah. No, but the teams that overpay for fourth line talent.
Yes.
I mean, there's examples throughout history.
Yes.
A guy has a good playoff run, gets a contract, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Everyone in the chat is now, Henrique's your perfect 3C, yet he's being deployed as a first-line winger. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, that just kind of goes to show. Curtis asks, is 2022-23 the year Steele scores the elusive 7th goal of the year, or does he land on 6 for the 5th straight year? Maybe I'm missing it. Has Sam Steele really scored 6 goals every year for the last however many years? And I didn't know this.
Let's see here. So he had 6. Yes, he has scored 6 goals.
I did not
know this.
I did not know this either.
How did this happen? This is a really good find.
Yes.
So I think it's unfortunate because he had 6 goals in 22 games his first year, and he's played at least double the amount of games every year since. So has not exceeded 6.
He's had one hat trick, right? So he had half of his goals that entire season on that hat trick.
Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty of you.
Does Sam Steele give up 23 to Mason McTavish and change to 66?
Oh, man, that is brutal. I don't want to keep piling on Sam Steele.
Wow. I'm just impressed that, none of us knew about this. No one found this. And thank you, Curtis. This is like a perfect CTP bit.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
6 goals, Sam.
6 goal Sam. There we go.
6 and 23.
6 over 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oh, wow. Wait, why is he saying in his tweet he had said 7 oh wait, never mind. Figured it out what
you
he
can
said.
answer your question there.
Yeah. So, I'll go does he land on 6 for the 5th straight year? I'm going to go with yes.
I'm going with yes. He's remarkably consistent.
He's insanely consistent. So we're going with yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ray G asks, with Edmonton showing what happens when you put your best players on the same line together, are we more likely to see Zegras, Terry, and Fiala? Maybe subs Milano if no Fiala.
Wait, hold on. Repeat that question.
Are basically with the fact that kind of it's a copycat league, Edmonton is showing what happens when you put your best players on a line together. Are we more likely to see Zegras, Terry, and Fiala together, maybe, or maybe you sub out Fiala for Milano if that doesn't happen?
I like how we're just already in the Fiala world. So I think that's a card you can play when you need it. I think that the Oilers have tried to get away from that at times, right? That's been their whole thing. How can we get away from purely relying on combining Draisaitl and McDavid? And so I think that for, looking at the Ducks, in a situation where you're down a goal or you're down a couple goals, you're trying to come back in a game, yes, then you can load up. That's the beauty of bringing in another offensive star, is that you have that lever to pull on. But I wouldn't expect that to happen regularly. I think it makes more sense to try to spread the wealth if you can.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that I think it's good to have them play together for bits and pieces of a season.
because you want them to be ready when their number gets called, basically, when that line is called upon.
Exactly. And then so we got this question, so we'll hit this and then we'll go to the ad read. Okay. So this comes from our good friend Trevor Zegras. Says, "Hey Jake, hope all is well. A couple of questions tonight. One, I would assume neither, but do you think the offer sheeting Jesper Bratt could possibly work, or unlikely Patrick Laine?"
Interesting. Well, it was asked to you, Jake, so you got to take the lead on this.
Jesper Bratt would be worth it. He is very, very good. The one thing I'm trying to look up very quickly, because honestly, I haven't put that much thought into Jesper Bratt as a Duck, but he's only 23 years of age. Sure.
He's young.
Yeah. I mean, go for it. If you can get him on an offer sheet or trade, I mean, here's the issue. The Devils are going to probably match any offer sheet that you give him.
Yeah, why would the Devils let him go?
Yeah.
He's like a key component of their rebuild or their build, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So
maybe in a Gibson trade?
Maybe. That actually could work.
Could it though? I mean, why would you do that if you're the Devils? Like, you have this elite, young offensive talent, and you're gonna move him for this goalie. And we're not having this debate again. We're not doing this.
You have to give to get.
All right. Moving on.
2, if the Ducks were to give Johnny G a contract and you were a GM, what would your limit be?
Oh boy. Well, he's getting what, at least 10?
He's getting 7 years for sure.
Yeah, he's getting 7 years for sure.
Would you do it for 7 years?
Oh boy. Johnny Gaudreau's elite, and the Ducks need elite players. I do worry about the aging curve there, but I have this belief that he can make it work. So I would say yes. There you go.
Okay.
I'm trying to cut to the chase and say yes.
I'd be hesitant. I probably wouldn't do it because of the term. The AAV doesn't concern me. The term does, because I mean,
yeah.
Look at John Tavares, right?
Yeah, I think that the weird thing with Gaudreau is that he isn't, he's one of those guys whose games, I feel like everyone can come up with reasons why a guy will age gracefully, but with Gaudreau, he really is a guy who's not, I don't want to say he's not physical or he doesn't take damage or whatever, but he's one of those guys whose game is predicated more on skill and skating, and I feel like that has a way of aging maybe a little bit better than a guy whose just game is predicated on going to the front of the net, winning battles along the wall. Maybe he ages a little more gracefully. And I really do think, like, to me, the one thing you have to consider with any free agent you're bringing in is that you're going to have guys like Trevor Zegras and Mason McTavish who are going to enter their primes in not that long, in 2-3 years, and that helps offset some decline to a degree.
Yeah,
so.
That's fair. All right. So, anything else you want to add on this topic?
No, I think I would love to see Johnny Gaudreau in Anaheim just from an entertainment perspective.
All right. So, let's get to a word from our sponsors. I don't have a fancy transition on this one. Don't have anything coming to mind.
You've been tooting your own horn for the last few weeks here.
I've been trying to think through to find something, but Felix, sweaty sack summer is approaching. And it's time for you to prioritize the comfort of your crotch. That's why the kings of crotch comfort, Manscaped, have spent 2 years designing the most comfortable boxer briefs out there. I've had the honor of testing out these new boxers, and I can say it's the softest fabric of any underwear. So breathable that it's like gills for your groin. They even trademarked the jewel pouch, so you know it's serious. I think it's time you invest in your family jewels so let your bulge breathe and get 20% off plus free shipping by using code CTP at manscaped.com. So let's say you're on a date, Felix, and your partner catches that Manscaped on the waistband of your underwear. It's almost guaranteed to raise some eyebrows and act like a billboard on the highway to Pleasure Town. This is thanks to their Lawnmower 4.0, the best electric trimmer for below-the-waist grooming. The trimmer offers skin-safe technology designed to trim hair on loose skin. Outside of just ball trimming, they're now focusing their efforts on helping out your thigh slappers in other ways with game-changing boxers. These boxers feature the Jewel Pouch, a pouch designed to cradle your boys in their own special space, lined with perforated performance fabric to keep them well ventilated. Basically, just imagine your balls sipping pina coladas, chilling on a hammock on some tropical beach. And the micromodal fabric is buttery soft and breathable, keeping your cucumber cool. Walk, run, strut. These moisture-wicking boxers breathe without breaking a sweat. The tagless waistband hugs your body without digging in, and it lays flat against your skin to reduce chafing. The front fly opening gives easy access to make bathroom breaks quick and efficient. You can choose from an arrangement of designs and colors and size ranges from small to XXL for all of my guys out there. So you can get 20% off plus free shipping with the code CTP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with code CTP at manscaped.com. Once the Boxers 2.0 touch your sack, you'll never go back.
They are pretty comfortable, actually.
We have a question about it, honestly, from 91 Pluty for you, Felix. Does Manscaped protect against stingrays?
I don't think I can say yes to that question, believably so.
But I don't think you can say no either.
That's true. That's true, because I was not – maybe that's where I went wrong. That's a great question. Maybe when I was in the ocean last week, if I had – actually, I know that if I had been wearing my Manscaped boxers, that I would not have been slashed, that I would not have been stabbed in the foot by a stingray.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's a good point.
There you go, folks. Yeah, that ad read was one of my favorites.
The cucumber and the thigh slappers just broke me.
You laughing broke me. I was doing a good job of keeping it together. Okay. All right. Time to move on. Ducks. So now we're gonna go to our Discord. Ducks Jaggernaut asks us which prospect fill roles on the roster next season, and which roles need to be filled by free agents. And follow-up question: which free agents should Pat Verbeek target to fill those holes?
Yeah, so that's a good question, because I think that right now, if you look at the Ducks, let's call it their top six, I think that there are guys who I think you can expect to be there next season. I think Trevor Zegras is in the top six, despite any attempts by Dallas Eakins. I think Troy Terry is solidly in the top six. Sonny Milano, he, pending RFA, we don't know exactly where that's going to go, but I'm going to say yes, he will be back in the top six. I think Adam Henrique is going to be in there. So that's 4 out of the 6. After that, you've got, is Max Comtois going to be in that group? That is a little bit up in the air. Is Mason McTavish up in that group? I think that the top 6 is maybe ironically, I don't know what the word would be, but weirdly, maybe where you see some prospects, because I think Jacob Perreault, I don't know if he's a guy who's going to be played in a depth role, and maybe that's where he can come in. Mason McTavish, same thing, although I think he's got more potential to play in a depth role. So I think up front, that's where maybe you see guys take a step forward. Even a Braden Tracy, he's a guy who they may give a look just as a depth piece. I don't think he's got the offensive game to crack the top 6, but I think that's where you can see an impact from the forwards at least. And on the blue line, the back end, the Ducks have they have prospects there as well. So there is a pretty big wave of prospects that I think can and some will make the leap, but you still have to fill out the rest with free agents.
Yeah, and I think I don't really have a good idea for the free agents because it's more so looking at depth guys, and I feel like that's something that I'll need to kind of look at a little bit more, in depth, to figure out exactly who it would be. But I think that first and foremost, I think you're right, getting prospects. I think they could really use another high-quality winger in a trade. I think that's why both you and I have looked at Kevin Fiala so in depth, because adding a guy like that could be so important for this Ducks franchise. I think realistically this team needs to go out and make a couple big deals.
Yeah, because I think for them, what would be better is instead of trying to fill out the bottom of your roster with depth guys, just get bigger name guys at the top and then push everyone down.
Yes.
As opposed to guys who are a little bit out of place. We were just talking about Adam Henrique, probably a 3C in a good team. Why keep him up there by bringing in kind of bit free agents at the bottom end when you can get better guys at the top end and get a guy like Adam Henrique in a more natural slot?
That's kind of been the issue with the Ducks franchise basically for the last, 4 or 5 years, however long it's been, where essentially Bob Murray put too much trust into this next wave of guys and thought that just because he liked these guys that when they went into an elevated role, they would fill that role nicely, instead of understanding, no, by doing that, you're putting them in wrong spots, putting them in bad positions, putting them in spots to fail by putting them too high in a lineup and not giving them the support that they needed.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and I think that right now, if you're Pat Verbeek, I don't think that you can look at the Ducks' crop of prospects and say, yes, there's at least one or two guys that are going to really come in and be high-end contributors. I just said I think some of them can and will, but I don't think that anyone's coming in and making a huge difference. Maybe I'll be wrong about that. I mean, certainly has happened on this show. Maybe Mason McTavish does that. But at the end of the day, you can't, like you said, the last 4 years are proof that you cannot bank on that. You need to kind of make stuff happen if you're Pat Verbeek, and I think that's what he'll do.
Yep. Taco Pie asked us, I don't know why, I always see that name and I always think Atacopi, and then I realize, oh no, it's a taco. Taco Pie asked, what you been playing lately? I've been on a Super Nintendo kick lately. You know what, Felix?
Wow. Love that for you.
Seeing as I'm getting ready to move, I've been just cleaning out the apartment, and I forgot that I had a second Super Nintendo.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Maybe we'll have a raffle idea in the future, or just hit me up and I'll figure out something. But
just give it to me.
Oh, you want it?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, there you go. Sorry, folks. Felix took it from you.
What games do you have?
Oh,
I
no.
need to know.
I already have, but I'm keeping my Super Nintendo games because I have a Super Nintendo.
So it's just the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk. We can figure out a price so you can pay me.
Yeah, it works though.
Take it off your hands.
Yeah, I mean Super Nintendo is always great. NHL 94 is great on there. Actually, you want to know what is I think one of the absolute hardest games of all time?
Well, I have a name, but actually it didn't originate on Super Nintendo, so I want to hear your pick.
Donkey Kong Country 2.
Wow. Okay, did not expect that.
That game is miserably hard.
Well, those side-scroller platform games from the 90s are actually really hard.
They're so hard.
So the original Super Mario Brothers on the Super Nintendo, like the remastered version on Super Mario All-Stars, is ridiculously difficult for that because the physics are just so clunky and bad that you just slide off of blocks, you die left. Maybe I just suck. But this is like a known thing, at least that I've heard. So
yeah, the thing
it's a good shout.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country, I think it's 2 is the harder one. 1 is still hard. The like mine level where you're like in that like mine cart and having to jump around is one of the most stressful moments. Like those controllers are also so flimsy. Like,
Yeah.
as a kid, I guess I didn't realize it, but I'm like,
smaller hands.
there's so many people that like probably broke those controllers so easily out of rage quitting and just being so angry. I guess the benefit to them is you can throw them with no care because they're not going to break.
It is funny though, because I don't think I've had more fun like since those old consoles, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. I don't think I've had more fun playing video games since. Like it's been all either the same or downhill.
No, I disagree.
Sure. Anyway, people are not tuning in for this.
But he asked, what have we been playing lately? What have you been playing?
What have we been playing? I haven't really been playing anything, to be honest. I bought NBA 2K22 thinking I was going to play it, and I haven't played it at all. I spent $30 and have not made good on my investment. So,
let's see. Obviously, I've been playing Warzone.
You've been playing Call of Duty.
I've been playing some Warzone, getting back into that. And then, what was it? On the weekend, I finally got back into playing some Horizon Forbidden West. I'm probably maybe 20 hours in and hadn't played in about a month or so. Just got busy with a lot of stuff and just decided to sit down and put a couple hours into it. It was fun. It's a great game.
Wow, so
Beautiful
you're so
game.
busy. You're so busy that you had 2 hours to dedicate to this game.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. Fair enough.
You know,
Fair enough.
sometimes people need mental breaks from everything they're doing to be able to
Yeah, see,
decompress.
I'm not good at that. That is my problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
Olaf's Berserker said, with some of the recent coaching departures around the league, where do you place odds that Dallas Aikens isn't the head coach of the Ducks at the start of the 22-23 season? So, essentially,
okay.
Essentially saying
for the upcoming season.
Basically, Pat Verbeek goes back on his word in a way because there's a new coaches out there that really make him intrigued.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
I'd
put it at 0%.
I don't think it's 0%, but
I think it's 0%.
I think it's 1%.
No, I think it's 0. I think that Pat Verbeek he's new to this game, right? Well, he's not new to the NHL.
That's fair.
But he is new to the GMing.
And your word matters.
To the GMing job. Your word matters. You don't it's just terrible optics to say that a guy is back, to have the whole social media PR push from the team, and then all of a sudden, there's a new prettier girl and I'm going to dump you because this one came up, right? It's just, no one would respect that, and I think that would really tarnish his image around the league. And so I don't see that happening.
All right. Our good friend.
Also, I mean, it would be a bit of a weird move, right?
Our good friend Eric Ducks Dragonaut has a question just for you, Felix.
Why do I always get the specific questions? I feel targeted.
Would you rather see a third coaching stint for Randy Carlyle, or be stung by a stingray again?
A third coaching stint for Randy Carlyle, without hesitation.
That bad for the stingray?
It hurt so bad. It was the worst pain I've ever felt.
But Randy Carlyle, you'd be putting me in pain also.
Randy Carlyle took the Ducks to the conference final.
You'd be putting me in pain also. The stingray, it's only you in pain.
Yeah, no, that hurt so freaking bad. I'd never want to experience that again. So yeah, Randy, come on down.
Yeah. Wow.
Give me this.
Did you just?
Yes.
Nice one, Connor. Not reading it. Olaf is Berserker said, how seriously do you think Pat Verbeek will consider trading one of the first round picks? Very. I think he's very seriously going to consider it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to push for that, because the Ducks, while yes, if they just make the picks, that's completely fine, and they will continue to stockpile their cupboard. I do think that they're at the point where they want to get better now. And a pick in the 20s is just not really going to do that for you.
Yeah.
Even the 10th overall pick, you could maybe argue in the short term, but we'll see.
Let's see. Krelsey said, how much medication did it take Felix to calm down from North/Southgate?
It took 0 medication.
But you were very worked up.
I was pretty flustered. I was pretty flummoxed.
You were, and I was laughing the entire time.
Well, Jake kept going the next day and made it worse. By the way, should we not tell people that the poll results came in? And
they
then
did?
I think it's over 70% of people said yes, not North County. So
at this point, I've shifted my argument to just simply say that.
Yeah, of course you have.
I've shifted my argument to more so just say Green Bastard in our Discord chat is wrong for actually drawing the line as being straight east-west. The line's at an angle.
30. So with the choices of South County or North County, 32% of people said North County. So, sorry, Jake, you're in the minority.
We're the bold, we're the brave. We speak our mind. Olaf is Berserk said, follow-up question, who provided the best representation of what North and South OC was, and why was it not Lewis?
I mean, that's a good question.
I mean, I'm going to go with it. It's anyone that just has the slanted line. That whether that's Olaf, whether that's Connor, whether that's me, the slanted line is the way to go. The angle. It's just
I'm doing the peace sign emoji right now. I'm not entertaining this discussion anymore.
Why do you disagree that it's an angled line?
Peace sign emoji. I'm out.
It's an angled line. All right. 91 Pluty said, I know it's a bit early. Can each of you give your current 3 favorite prospects for the Ducks to take at number 10? And he also said Stingray can be a prospect.
Do we really have to keep bringing this up?
The Stingray. I feel like the Stingray is now going to be a bit on the show.
Yeah. Oh, God. So favorites at number 10.
Savoy is one that's one of my favorites.
So how do you pronounce it? Is it Nazar? Frank Nazar?
I think so.
Is he? I feel like there's a chance he's available at 10 because the boards are so all over the place.
Yep.
I love his skating ability. I love that he can kind of bring that dimension to the Ducks. So he'd be a player I'd want.
Savoy, I think, has a high skill level, high skill ceiling that I like. And then Brad Lambert's just intrigues me. I think just the profile that he's had. Sure, there's obviously concerns about what's happened to him, but
I would love to. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it.
I would love to see the Ducks just take a crazy dart throw at Danila Yurov, just because he's got a very intriguing projection in hockey prospecting, but he is also a bit of a gamble because he didn't really get a chance to show anything in the KHL. We also don't know what the status of those players is going to be, but I just think it would be crazy for the Ducks to really kind of just take a wild swing at number 10 with him.
DB Lowry says, what's the odds on the Stingray getting drafted?
Is the Stingray still alive? What's their lifespan? Actually, I want to find this out.
I mean, the spear didn't end up stuck in you, so I think you're fine. No. I think it's fine. I think it was just a warning.
Holy crap. Stingrays live for around 15 to 25 years in the wild. These things roam around for a quarter century? That's actually insane. I'm scared now.
I've been told I need to get Tampa Bay Rays gear to have in the house.
Oh, God. Yeah, the cut is just now.
Oh,
healing.
I guess stingrays can lose their barbs and stay alive. They're not like bees. I was thinking about that. They were like bees.
Yeah, I mean, it's for it to get stuck in you, it's got to be a mean stab. I just gotta scrape, basically.
All right, Ducks Jacket says
the venom is what causes the pain.
Yeah. Which ex-Duck currently playing on another team would provide the best value for the Ducks if they were brought back?
I mean, Josh Manson's playing well in these playoffs, and I think that he would. I mean, now he might not have to, but I think he might be able to take. He might be willing to take a discount to come back to Anaheim because I think he did want to stay. At the end of the day, I don't think it was his preferred route to leave the Ducks. So, and he's played well, and he had a great season for the Ducks statistically this last year. So, and the Ducks don't really have great depth right now on the back end. It's kind of tough to see how that changes all that much this coming season. And then, of course, on the right side, Kevin Shattenkirk was horrendous this year. So, yeah, and my team bring Josh home? Maybe.
Yeah, I could see that. I think him or Raquel are the two.
Yeah.
Raquel on a 2-year deal, something like that.
Yeah, I think did you see, by the way, the video of the Manson with the Chick-fil-A thing?
Yeah, Yes, I've been told. I didn't realize that was like right after he was traded.
That was like a month ago, or like 2 months ago. Yeah. No, that was excellent.
Yes,
that was excellent.
91 Pluty said, in regards to this question, why is it Nick Delorier? No.
Weren't they talking about that on? Was it 32 Thoughts?
32 Thoughts mentioned it, and I hope it's. Yeah, I have no words.
Jake, would you rather get stung by a stingray or have Nick Delorier be back in the Ducks next season?
Sting me up. Sting me up. Give me that venom. Give me that sweet, sweet venom.
Wow. That's how I know you really don't like Nick Delorier.
Yeah. 91 Police said, what is the likelihood Kevin Shattenkirk is still a Duck come October? Expiring deal. Could Verbeek want to trade him prior to the deadline?
I mean, what's his value right now? It's got to be kind of low, right? I mean, he did have points this year.
Yeah, that's the weird thing is I think it's higher now than it was last year.
Yeah, so going off of narrative and points, maybe he's a guy you trade this summer. But, I mean, if the Ducks want to be good next year and he's got a year left, he's cheap, he doesn't seem like a guy you'd want to trade right now. Doesn't seem like it makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Shake and Wink says... Oh, go ahead.
But I'm not saying that because I wouldn't. I'm just saying I don't see them doing that.
Shake and Wings asked this, what type of music genre does each major sport prefer? I mean, I think that's just more so. I think NHL is always going to kind of be hard rock, right?
Sure.
MLB, I don't know. MLB is weird.
Well, I think you go by, each sport. So, like, I think they're all kind of the same nowadays, to be honest. I think that the way that there's, with social media and sharing
fair.
Playlists and stuff, I think they're all kind of the same.
Yep, so that's fair. I will say that I like when there's a team that goes off the beaten path, which is why I'm a big fan of the Maple Leafs goal song.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Because Hall & Oates, You Making My Dreams Come True, is not a normal sports song. In general, to be played at all. And for that to be the song that's blasted after your team scored a goal is just fantastic.
Yeah,
best goal song in the league.
Do they change it next year, though?
They should not.
Okay.
They should not.
Move forward.
SP84 says, should the Ducks replace Josh Manson on the defense with a trade acquisition, free agent signing, or prospect? And Olaf is Berserker followed up said, should the Ducks replace Josh Manson with Josh Manson?
I mean, if you can get him on the right deal, I would be pro bringing him back.
Yep.
I don't think they have anyone right now in the system that screams at me that he can come in and fill that void. I mean, the options right now on the blue line that are signed for next season, on the right side, so just in the system, you have Axel Anderson. I mean, I don't think we'll ever see him in the... I mean... I think we'll see him in the NHL at some point, but I don't know if he'll become a regular. Drew Hellison, is he ready to take that leap? So, I mean, those are your options on the right side right now that are signed through next season. So, yeah, it would make sense to bring him back, honestly.
Yep. I almost said his new name, but Green Bastard, who has now relabeled himself North-South Bastard after the great debate, said... How much did the Florida Panthers pay the rest for this game? This was sent mid-game. It doesn't seem like they did. And that was because the goals were disallowed. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
91 Police said, thoughts on the gold the Ducks use in the color scheme? Personally, I'm not a fan, and I hate that it's been a main color in the primary logo for so long.
You like that gold.
I do. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I liked it when orange was the accent and gold was the bigger secondary color. Because I think black and gold go really well together. I think gold as the outline for the numbers was a whole lot better than orange as the outline for the numbers. I think it just looks better. I think it's a big reason why I really like LAFC's kit, because the black and gold just really work well together. What's that look?
MLS reference.
So? But
oh my, it is 4-3 in this St. Louis Colorado game. Just saying score.
So yeah, I'm a fan of it. I do think that going to the orange is a good call, though, because of the Orange County callback and everything. At the end of the day, though,
there's a way to make it more tasteful, I think.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, go back to Eggplant Jade.
That's just not gonna happen.
It should.
Just bring back an Eggplant Jade jersey. Just have one in the rotation.
Yes.
I don't think they need to make it the brand again.
They
need
should, but they're not going.
I know that that's just as long as Henry and Susan Samueli own this team, I don't think that's going to happen. So
I'll let you answer this because I'm trying to come up with an answer as I'm reading it. CJ asks, why does CJ sound like an 11-year-old boy on the mic?
Why did CJ said that about himself?
He did.
Why does he sound? I guess my question would be, why 11 years old? Why not 10? Why not 12? Like, that's a very specific number. I don't know. I can't answer that question for you, CJ.
CJ, I think
I'll just say this: we love you how you are. No need to.
Oh, I was gonna say, CJ. I think it's because at your new apartment you built a basement and moved your mom in so that you could be a true blogger and blog from the basement. And when you're a basement blogger, you have to have a voice of a 10-year-old. That's how it works.
Okay.
I don't know. I really had to go on a roundabout trip for that one, but I hope CJ enjoyed that.
You got us home. I
hope CJ enjoyed that. All right. So, by the way, so Twitch.
The implication there being that I didn't, but yeah.
Yeah, you didn't though. Let's see. Mark Bertrand on YouTube said, "What do you guys think about taking on Mrazek's contract from Toronto as well as Nylander for Gibson and some picks or prospects? They need cap room, although they're very dependent. It's very dependent on if the Leafs can sign Campbell."
I mean, William, the thing is, we already kind of know that the Leafs aren't blowing it up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that it doesn't feel like you can't say you're not blowing it up or anything, not doing anything drastic, and then trading William Nylander. And also, are we sure that goaltending was really the problem for the Maple Leafs in these playoffs? And even, I mean, in the regular season, yes, it was a problem, but they got through it. To me, if you're the Leafs, that's a huge price to pay for an upgrade in net, to lose William Nylander, who was one of their best players in that first round defeat. So I don't see that happening. If you're the Ducks, though, I mean, to kind of flip the script here, sure, yes. I mean, get William Nylander, get that elite forward talent. That's what they need. That's what is going to change the course of the franchise trajectory right now. But I just don't really see that happening. Just from the Toronto side, I don't know why they would do that unless they really think that goaltending is like singularly the problem, and that losing one of your best players is going to change that.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to Twitch. So for anyone on our Twitch stream, first off, if you're on YouTube, you're on your favorite podcast services, you can find us at twitch.tv/crashpond, where you can like and subscribe or follow and subscribe to the channel. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch Prime gaming sub each and every month, where you do help support this channel more than you can imagine. You get special emotes in the chat, special badges next to your name. And so we're going to go to some questions. Someone's asking if the gear that I should get should be Devil Rays or New Rays gear.
They have a new look.
The Tampa Bay Rays?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not the Devil Rays. They have them in what? I can't tell.
I
can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
No, I didn't catch that part. Okay. Sure. I mean, I'm staying out of this one.
Okay. Also, Lou, I see your Whitefish, Montana. I don't have that area set up on our OBS right now because our voices don't appear on there. So we're going to have to bypass that complete shit show portion of it. But you know what, Felix? Do you know what this weekend is?
Memorial Day.
Do you know what's on Memorial Day weekend?
You moving.
Do you know what else is on Memorial Day weekend?
I give up.
Double or Nothing 2022, the third annual pay-per-view for AEW. Their first ever one was in 2019, Double or Nothing, the first one. So we got a couple questions that I may or may not have completely just asked for on Twitch, but Tybal the Fiend-Blood had said, so just for your reference, the title match is Hangman Adam Page versus CM Punk. Who you got winning?
CM Punk.
Oh, it's a tough one. Tough one for me. First time
I'm saying that, by the way, with zero knowledge anything or zero care.
This is the first time, probably going back to Cody versus Jericho, that I don't know who's going to win. Every other one felt pretty obvious who was going to win, who wasn't, and I can't tell. I'm leaning. I want to say Paige, but I think it's going to be CM Punk, and we're going to get a heel CM Punk and a Summer of Punk coming from it. And Tybo the Fiend Bud said, also, how long before Hookhausen title run? Can you just do me a favor really quickly, Felix?
Yes.
Google Danhausen.
How do you spell it?
Danhausen.
Ugh.
This guy's a
look
wrestler.
like that?
Because he's very nice and very evil, and he's wrestling with Hook. And they need to win the title. He needs all the monies. He needs
Are those real tattoos?
Yes.
Ugh. Gross.
Great character. Great gimmick. DB Lowry said, how many Stingray stings would Felix take for the Ducks to win a cup?
0.
What about Montreal?
1. I'm at my limit.
Wait, one additional one to this?
No, 1.
No.
This is the one.
This one does not count.
0. I am not getting stung again for any reason.
Not even for Montreal to win the cup.
I mean, maybe for like a life reason, like to make $1 million or something, but not for something like that.
Okay.
It has to directly benefit me.
Okay. Does Sasha Pastujov get a 9-game look with the Ducks next season?
Maybe. Are we sure he had a great season this year?
Yeah, he's not the guy I'd be thinking about getting the 9-game look. Also,
he had a hot start, and then he had a good season. He had a strong production overall, but I don't know if they use that slot on him.
Also, I'm pretty positive he's eligible for the AHL because he was committed to college.
Oh, okay. Well, that could change things.
So I think that he was not drafted originally in the same way as other players were because he had been playing in the USHL and was going to go to college. He's actually, I think, eligible for the AHL. Don't quote me on that one, though, but I believe that is the case.
Yeah, his star probability in hockey prospecting went down a lot. Went from 51% to 23% this last year.
DB Lowry 3507 said, does Sasha Banks go to AEW?
Oh, we have a Nazem Kadri hat trick. That's just
I'm going to go with yes, but yes. Nazem Kadri hat trick in St. Louis after everything that's happened. Good for him. He deserves this. I'm not the biggest Nazem Kadri fan on the ice, but everything
he does a lot of objectionable stuff.
But everything he's had to go through that is complete and total bullshit. He deserves this type of moment.
Whew. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Great for him. That Sasha Banks to AEW?
Don't care.
Okay. She was in The Mandalorian, Felix.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, sure. Go get that money.
There you go.
Oh, by the way, my question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited for Obi-Wan?
Very.
Are you going to watch it in your new place? Is that going to be how you're going to christen your new place?
That's the plan. Especially with your help to make sure a TV gets mounted.
There you go. Happy to help.
That's, I think, it, though, for us. We've made it an hour somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, does Getzlaf win the Clancy? Sure.
Oh, God. Who's the other? I guess that's the one bit of news that we didn't get to.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll say.
I don't remember what the Clancy was even, but yes.
I think it's like sport. It's like a. Is it? No, it's not dedication to hockey.
No, that's the Masterton.
Isn't King Clancy just the? No.
Is that the Mark Messier Leadership Award? I feel like it's similar.
Given annually, who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice. Okay. Let's see who the candidates are. Getzlaf, Nurse, and Subban. Yeah, so it's part of it is leadership and humanitarian contributions. So I don't know. I mean, it's just how do you give out this award and who's picking it? I don't know. I'll just say yes just to see him succeed, but Darnell Nurse and PK Subban are both heavily involved guys, so there's no bad winner here.
Yep. All right. I think that's going to do it for us, though.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and thank you to everyone who submitted a question. Helped us basically have a show today, so we really do appreciate that. If you've been enjoying the show, if you've been enjoying what we've been doing here, there's a few ways to do that are really easy for you. So you just go to the number one way. I think the number one way is to join our Patreon, patreon.com/crashthepond, where you can make a monthly pledge. And for $1 a month, which is the first tier, you get access to our patrons-only Discord server, which is so much fun. It's the best hockey community, I think, that is out there online. just a really fun group, a really supportive group, really just a healthy environment where you can have fun, discuss hockey, discuss food, other sports. It's great. I really recommend it. I can't recommend it enough. That's for $1 a month. For $5 a month, you get access to that on top of 2 bonus Patreon episodes that we do, where we'll go more into league-wide topics, or we may hone in on a specific Ducks topics. Our last 2 shows, we've done our first round NHL Stanley Cup playoff predictions. We've done our round 2 predictions. And keep that train going.
One thing I want to add here is that typically what happens come summer, just for anyone out there that's a new listener, is we kind of really pull it back in terms of the main show episode just as news starts to die down, different things like that. And then basically we kind of keep the Patreon episodes going just as our way to kind of check in, have some fun, shoot the breeze, everything like that. So that kind of becomes our main way of having podcasts over summer.
Yep, exactly. So I think it's even more worth it during the summertime. You can also pledge $15 a month if you feel so inclined, and that's all at patreon.com/crashthepond. But you don't have to do it that way to help support us. Another great and easy way to do so, just search for us on Apple Podcasts, search for Crash the Pond, and leave us a rating and a review. If you do so, we will read it on the show. We love hearing from you guys there. You can also leave us a rating on Spotify. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/crashthepond. You can subscribe there. Make sure to turn on the notifications and leave a comment if you're watching us on YouTube. We love to hear from you guys. The YouTube comments are always entertaining. And then, of course, you can find our website, Crash the Pond, crashthepond.com, crashthepond.com/shop. So for the summertime, you can get yourself a nice Crash the Pond t-shirt. We also have coffee mugs, stickers that you can put on your car, whatever it is.
Here's
that you
the sticker.
Put it on. Yeah, that's the eggplant and jade version. So we've also got a black and orange version. So whether you're a fan of the retro or a fan of the new school, we've got you covered there. Check out Crash the Pond on Twitter, at Crash the Pond, and on Facebook. Jake is on Twitter at ReindeerGames91, and I am on Twitter at Felix_Sicard. And I'm actually going to plug my article here at the 4th period. I've got one up right now about the Ducks off-season. So go check that out. Thanks for listening, guys. We really do appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the off-season. Hope you're enjoying the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we'll talk to you in 2 weeks. We're taking the week off next week, but we will be right back here 2 weeks from now talking Ducks.
Bye!